I just reinstalled OBS basically 2 minutes ago. No plugin installed, nothing is working. We will have some struggles. It's OBS Mac, some shit will be different. Alright, here on OBS I'm starting with just adding the move transition because that's what I need for everything, and then we will just stack our scenes. The first scene is soon, or starting soon, chatting scene followed by a Mac or capture. I then have a BRB or PRB, ending scene, raid scene, a nested divider. This one will be an empty scene just for organization. In here I have my camera. I use brackets in front with N for nested. I have my audio, my alerts. I should have a doc, the followers, the background. Let's create just one for now. That will be called decoration 000. And from there we have everything that we need, as far as I know. The reason why I'm working with nested scene is basically the same way as Figma is working. A nested scene can be interpreted as a component. If you use it in multiple scenes as nested and you make a change to the original, then it impacts everything. This one, because it's a capture, it's a bracket C for capture. I call that display most of the time. We need a video capture device that is also C. That's my camera. Color are absolutely not good. The alerts, we will have browser sources. BS makes sense. Background will be probably a browser source. Right now I have some issues with the move transition. Let's change these. I always uncheck zoom and the position is always away from center. Now I can do a nested scene right here. We know that we will have the audio, also have the background, and then depending on the scene we will have specific things, but most of the time we will have the camera, the capture, or the alerts. Once we have all of these nested scenes, I can just select everything, do a Command C, go into chatting and do a V, and it will paste everything. I know that in the Mac I will have the screen capture. In terms of things that will be added later, we have text blocks, color blocks, images. All of that will be on a scene by scene basis. And now that we have this with the move transition, we have the ability to say, well, this thing needs to be a bit smaller on the starting soon. That's where we will see the benefits of move transition, giving us some really sweet transition in between scene A and scene B. Now that we have basically OBS done, I have nothing else to do but to define where things needs to go, and in order to do that I personally need a bit of a base in Figma. Now that we have these things, we have our crops, we have our base, we have everything that we need. Here I want to have images. That image is a blueprint that we need to have in the background. Let's call that image soon. Take our BRB scene, and right now you can see I have a bit of a problem right here. In the settings, in my video output, I need to change that value to 2160. But these images are just here to help me make the right decision when I'm cropping each scenes. In the capture, I will go into my scene filters, and in my scene filter I will just add a crop / pad. And what I know is I have a 244 on the left side and a 244 on the right side. And same thing here, we have 3 of them. That's when move transition comes into play. If you are someone who wants to have these smooth transitions like the one that I have just here, move transition and the next segment of that video is what you need to take a look at. From here, I do the same thing. I go into the filters and I add a new crop. This crop is just the filter that will be used as a master filter. On top of that, we add move values. So these move values, I name them properly. Usually it's called that crop. The one that I have on display is the 120 on both sides. That's the crop base or the crop BRB. It uses the crop filter and it uses all the settings. It uses a 120 on the left and a 120 on the right. This doesn't have a custom duration. It doesn't have a start delay. The trigger is when enable. When the I in the filter is pressed, the filter will enable and the crop will happen. And that's it. Now we can duplicate this and call that crop chatting. Our crop chatting is the same thing, however, as we said here, it's just 82 top and bottom. We duplicate it one more time, and that is the crop Mac or the crop working, depending on how you named your scenes. And what we know from that is we have 657 on both sides to take off. In the background, you can see that I have one blueprint, which is not the one that we need. Let's go back to background, enable soon, and only soon. On the filters, I need a move source that will be used across everything. I want my camera crop as a filter, and that camera crop filter is taking the camera. It doesn't have a custom duration, it doesn't have a transform, the visibility is the same, nothing changed here. It needs, however, to be activated when the scene becomes visible, and the simultaneous move is the crop from the camera. Right now we need the crop base to be enabled. If I do that, you probably have seen that tiny preview have changed. And now that block right here for the camera is smaller and we can align it. Then I can copy the filters, go into chatting, paste my filter, then in there my camera crop on this one, instead of being my camera base or crop base, I'm in crop chatting. You will see if I do crop chatting, it crops everything. Select my camera and resize it to make sure that it has 20 on both sides. Using Control E or Command E will help you to get the edit transform model, which gives you the ability to navigate and place things. We could 100% use the Figma values right here. For example, if I select this with the same canvas size, my information here are giving me everything that I need. It's supposed to be located at 747 and 158. It's also supposed to be 1393 by 900. If I do 900 here and 1393 there, 747 and 58. That way it's exactly placed as we have designed it in Figma. The BRB scene is supposed to be the same as the starting scene. I can just paste the filters. Same thing for the ending scene. I can paste the filter on the ending. And one thing that I need to do is making sure that camera transform, you can copy transform from here, is also applied to the BRB and to the ending scene. But now we can go into our background thing, get rid of that image in the background, get rid of that because it's not exactly needed for now. And now what should happen is if we go in soon, we have our camera that is placed in the position that it needs to be. If we go into chatting, just resize itself, If we go into Mac, it resizes itself and we can see that the Mac screen is popping in from the side. If we go into BRB, the Mac screen is going away. Other than that, we good for the overlay. That took us like basically an hour and 10 to get everything sorted. I think we're good.